Hey everyone, it's June 29th, about 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got the 4-hour chart of Bitcoin, BTC, USD on the Bitfinex exchange. So today's video is going to be a little earlier than normal, and also it is not investment advice. The video is done for educational purposes only. So let's kind of talk about like where we left off on the previous videos. Everyone who's been a subscriber and following along, you know that we've gone through a series of bear flags. Bitcoin is under serious selling pressure. That selling pressure is not letting up at all. We keep breaking down. We're slightly above the new low for the year, okay? So right here is the new low for the year. Let me just mark this out real quick. And then that way, and I'll put a little emphasis on it. Maybe I'll make it a red line real quick. So we're literally hovering slightly above the new low for 2018. And I talked about how when an asset breaks to a new low for the year, it's typically a very bad sign. It doesn't mean it's the end of the market, but it's not a good sign when you break to a new low. A lot of people think like, oh, we were going to double bottom at 6,000. 6,000 was going to hold, and then we're going to go straight to the moon from there. But unfortunately, we're essentially hanging out in a channel of selling pressure. So this is just the generic downtrend line right here, and then this one is just another downtrend line I marked out just to show a visual representation of the selling pressure in this market. So clearly we keep setting new lows in Bitcoin, and that's not a good sign at all looking at the overall market structure here. And I'll just touch on this real briefly because I know I talk about it on my prior videos, but the moves back up are getting smaller and smaller. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it looks like Bitcoin is trying to find its true bottom. I think the true bottom we would have experienced had there not been an intervention in this market here, and then also a second intervention here. Now, the Department of Justice said, a while ago, said that they're going to do an investigation of the manipulation of these markets, and all of a sudden, these magical bars have all disappeared. So, basically, what I think they were is just big money escaping the market and then transferring their coins or even paper in the futures market over in not only the futures market, but then you also have the ETF or stocks that follow like GBTC. And I forget the one for Ethereum that was recently listed about a month or two ago, I think it was. But anyways, so there's been the exchange of big money into small money, and that's why these runs have not been sustained. That's why they've gone nowhere and just completely flopped over, giving back 100% and now giving back even more than 100%. So this is not a good sign in the market. But however, as we are making these smaller moves, we're going to a horizontal plane. So at least that's a positive that Bitcoin may be trying to find its bottom, build a support zone, which will become a base. That base will lead to Bitcoin either making a decision to drop further or start to turn this ship around and start to head north and eventually in the future rival that 20,000 top. So it's not that, we're breaking to a new low, we're under 6,000, it's the end of Bitcoin, Bitcoin's going to zero. I see the videos on both spectrums or articles or whatever where people are talking for 1 million Bitcoin, people are talking for 1,000 Bitcoin. So both spectrums, but as of now, it definitely looks like the move downward is being contained as best as it possibly can, and I think that's why we keep seeing an influx in volume and then that volume quickly disappearing, is because whoever is trying to stabilize this market, whether it's individuals or whether it's exchanges or a mixture of both, they're trying to mitigate the downside here, and they keep trying, and every time they try, it just keeps flopping over and over and over again. And this could be literally big money versus big money, and it's definitely a cutthroat industry, and it happens in all industries. And you can see the battles between big monies, especially in the futures market. Gold's very, very notorious for the battle between big money individuals, and we could see that here. We could see stabilization to try to create an artificial run to escape, and then boom, they get hammered over and over and over again. And we keep seeing the stair-stepping down pattern here. We're hovering under 6,000. We're trying to get above 6,000. We can't quite do it. We've been trying all day. More than likely, we're going to fill out and then continue the drop even lower into Bitcoin unless there is an intervention at this level. What I mean by an intervention is that we need a big bar to save this market yet once again, to at least produce a rally that will more than likely only last a few days before flopping over yet once again. But at this level, it looks like there is an attempt to try to stabilize it, since we've gone from about the low 3 billions up to about 3.8 billion. But if that volume does start to drop throughout the night into tomorrow, you can pretty much guarantee that this price is going to follow that volume downward. And I've been saying this in all my videos as well, that volume's coming in as the initial pump gets started, and then it's trickling down. I say it's only a matter of time for price to follow volume, because if you're having less and less people want to buy at this level, what makes you think it's going to stay at this level? It's not. It has to go down. So there's no demand at that level. So it has to find another low in order to attract new buyers in this market. And we're seeing less and less buyers enter into this market. And I think one of the biggest things that really destroyed the integrity of this market was the blatant manipulation in price. Then you also have the Department of Justice coming out talking about it. You have various organizations talking about the blatant manipulation, people across the board. It's just unfortunately the nature of the beast. It's going to happen in every single market. Don't let anyone fool you that it doesn't happen in all the other markets out there. But I think that kind of eroded the integrity of this market, and it beat out a lot of people too. A lot of people got pissed off and quit. I remember seeing all the comments. I know people that were just like, I'm done. I don't care about this market anymore because of all of that. So I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but I'll just kind of summarize it in a short summary, that if Bitcoin stays under the 6,000 low, we are more than likely going to break to the mid to low 5 range to try to find a home there. Again, if we do not find that home in this level, remember I talked about this being like club consolidation, meaning there's a lot of buyers and sellers in this area. This area was hot at one point. So as we're entering this area, and we're currently here, so we're like at the front door, we just walked into the place, we're trying to ask like, hey, are there any buyers here currently? And everyone's saying no. No one wants anything to do with us, so we're going to have to progress a little further into the club. And if no one at the mid level, which is right around 5,700, which is kind of where we're hovering right now, we're right at about 59 something. If no one here wants it, then we're going to have to migrate a little lower and make our way toward the back of the club. And if we hit the back of the club and no one is here to buy and no one wants anything to do with us, then guess what? We have to drop even lower to the next level of consolidation. There's a few little tiny areas. Maybe this area right here provides something. I don't know. There's so much volatility within that area that is a giant area to try to find support. So it may not hold up quite as well. And that's 4,000. So I'm not trying to get the bears all googly-eyed here, because this is definitely fantasy land, but this right here is the reality of where Bitcoin is currently at, and these are going to be the prices that we're going to have to look at, because this is where we're at. And if we break through this area and no one wants to buy at that level, then guess what? We have to go lower, and I'll show you that as well. When you look at this area, anyone who's followed me, I call this club consolidation. You can see what happened. We hit it. We entered almost all the way into the center of it, got a little tiny bounce, collapsed even further, shot right through it, tried to come back in, and got kicked right out, and obviously progressed lower. So we could experience that same volatility around the mid 5s, but if no one wants anything to do with Bitcoin in the mid 5s, meaning big money, wants nothing to do with the money or Bitcoin in the 5s, then we are going to progress lower. And the next level of support is a gigantic range between the low 4 to the high 4, almost low 5. So it's a giant swing from there, meaning the volatility could definitely pick up if we start to drop into that region. And basically what we're looking for on a bigger perspective for the market is that we want to see Bitcoin base out, meaning do something like this, provide a platform which will lead to the energy necessary to be accumulated for Bitcoin to rise once again into the future. Kind of, you know, if you look at a chart of the NASDAQ and you look at the dot-com bubble and you see what happened in the aftermath there's a lot of volatility, a lot of settling. We kind of settled at an inclined base and then had another monster drop and then shot back up and blew out the top on the NASDAQ over the dot-com bubble. So it takes time, and I think I have to, you know, continuously reiterate that in these videos, that Bitcoin is going to require time before it is able to accelerate higher. And not a lot of people are going to want to sit around and wait for that time factor to play out, because everyone is used to this market that whips around up and down, and you can make gains very quick. You can also have big losses, but overall it was just hang on, and you were guaranteed basically money almost essentially in this market with the way things were panning out. So we're not seeing that really, and we're seeing more and more people get beat out. We're seeing the sentiment kind of flip a little bit. I think there's a lot of hope still in this market that definitely needs to get beat out, and Bitcoin has not experienced a bloodbath phase at all. And what I mean by that is that a phase in which everybody, I mean everybody, even John McAfee, is like, this thing is done. And we have not experienced that. Even the drop to 6,000 did not produce extreme bearish sentiment. So I don't know if we're ever going to experience an extreme swing like that, but typically markets do experience those swings. You can see it in the stock market, you can see it in the commodities market, you can even see it in the Forex markets as well. And basically it is an extreme to where almost everybody is like, this thing is tanking or this thing is going to the moon and it's guaranteed. So you see these wild swings, and we've already seen the insanity of the bullish extreme, right? We have not seen the insanity of the bearish extreme yet. We may never see it, I don't know, but typically, or I would say all asset classes experiencing it. I have not seen it in Bitcoin as of yet. And I mean sentiment that is so bearish, like I said again, John McAfee is out there saying it's over. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is the extreme. And I think John McAfee is the biggest salesman for Bitcoin at this moment with his wild and crazy projections. I don't think anybody tops him. But anyway, so that's it for today. Sorry for the long video, just kind of like going through some things, just rambling a little bit. But I hope everybody has a great night, great day. If you like the video, like the content, like, comment, subscribe, follow. I do appreciate your time, appreciate your support. If you're not joined the Slack channel, it's free. Go to my site, geometriccharts.com. At the bottom, there's a link to my social media accounts and my Slack channel. There's over 350 members there, people from all over the world. Really, really nice people. So if you're not a part of a community, I would highly advise you join it. Like I said, it's absolutely free to join. If you're looking for something more in depth, like specific price points, stop losses, etc., I do offer a subscription service through geometriccharts.com. But other than that, everybody have a great day, great weekend. I'll talk to everybody tomorrow.